Alrighty, my turn. You ready?
I feel like I've already been in this chair a few times this series in the quiz anyway, so I'm ready.
Yeah, that is true. Well, we've changed it again. Have you got another new picture, or have you just recycled one? I can't actually remember.
Like they're all kind of down there. Can you see? Like all the
You're giving away your off-screen secrets there.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that really.
The wolf.
Wolf.
Oh well, let's start with that. The nickname, the wolf.
Yeah, Joey got Joey to thank for that one, hasn't
I? Yeah. He comes up with some very, very good nicknames. What that's you've sort of incorporated that into your obviously like merchandise and nickname, and people know you as the wolf now. Like obviously that's
yeah. I don't know is that a good thing
or a bad thing?
I remember when I was playing, I wasn't as keen. I just remember, I don't know, I remember Mossad having a big hammer on the middle of his chest, and I just thought, to me, that was a bit like referring to yourself in the third person, and I was thinking, I always had this weird thing, I didn't want to jinx myself. You know, it was one of those things, if someone asks you, how are you playing, and you go, oh yeah, playing really well, then you play rubbish the next time or something would go, how's the body feeling? Yeah, great, you twist your ankle. So I viewed it in the same category as that and didn't really get too involved. But then I thought once you're retired, it doesn't really matter so much, and you can kind of
well, use it for a good thing.
That was the mindset anyway.
It's a good nickname. It's fitting, I think.
Joey had some good ones. I think Simpo said quite funny on the retirement. He said when you play him, you can literally feel him snarling down the back of your neck. And I was sorry about that.
Definitely felt that a few times.
Heavy. Esme feels that in the middle of the night, me snoring.
Yeah, we've all been there. Good snorer, you.
Yeah, sorry about that. The bags though, they're getting a bit haggard though with the kids early mornings these days, mate.
Yeah. You're quite religious to your sleep, like in terms of like. Go on.
What were you gonna say?
I said you're quite religious with your sleep. Like, I remember sharing rooms with you at tournaments and stuff. Like, it'd be on the minute of like when you needed to have your afternoon kip, and it'd be bang on, followed by waking up exactly the same time. Yeah, like your afternoon kips, like everything. The whole day was built around it.
If someone says to me, "What's the thing you miss the most about being on tour?" The afternoon nap.
Yeah, is it?
Just some people can't do them and just feel like. I talk again. In other words, Simpo just used to say he'd wake up, he would just feel like he'd been hit for six, and even a couple of hours later, he just didn't feel alert. I just used to thrive, especially when you're playing late at night, aren't you? So imagine you've got to peak perform for an hour a day, essentially. Well, 2 hours, including warm up and everything.
Yeah.
And that sometimes might be 9, 10 o'clock at night, and the body clock's not designed for that. You're winding down all the different bodily rhythm, what's it called, the circadian rhythms, whatever. And so essentially you're just changing your body clock, right, to be able to you mentioned warming up at 1:45 in the morning, for example. You'd have struggled to do that if you hadn't have had a little snooze in the afternoon.
Yeah, true. That is very true. I think I was sharing with you, so I probably did have a snooze then. But yeah, so let's go back to the start then. Like you played quite a lot of sports when you were growing up, didn't you?
Definitely, yeah. I was my dad was the PE teacher at my dad was a semi-pro footballer, played for a lot of clubs around here, so he grew up in sport. He played for like Sutton United, Alfreton Town. He played for Northampton Reserves at one point, but he's a good semi-pro player. And
back.
He played all over, but he had the best phase of his career playing left wing on a 4-3-3, he said. 4-3-3, left striker.
Wouldn't have put him there. Was he right-footed?
Right-footed, but he said they had a big target man, and he said the number of goals he scored just coming in off the left wing and just getting in and around the target man and just being a little bit of a poacher in the box.
Yeah.
So I was
deadly.
Always fit. He had me doing cross country. He had me playing football. I was midfield, just box to box. Played cricket. I was captain of the team because I was thinking about it. Also, my dad was a teacher, so that helps.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't fussed about any sort of, I'll make my son the captain and
I
get
was
any
captain of the
repercussions
football
from it.
team as well.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't have got in the football team unless my dad was the coach. But I was all right at cricket. I liked
Yeah.
cricket. You know, figuring out who was going to bowl the last over and getting the field play. I like to have a couple of quirky field placings to get a cheeky little catch, and love that.
So when you're so with your squash, like what point did you then take it to another level? Because obviously obviously reading your book and other bits and pieces, and by your own admission, you weren't like, you were obviously a very good junior, especially by the end winning British Junior Open, but
By
you
default.
weren't sort of smashing. Smash still won it. You weren't smashing everything out the park, you know, like other juniors have.
Yeah.
You got, but then obviously transitioning, and obviously you as a coach, working with juniors and transitioning them into seniors now, it shows you the transition from juniors to seniors is a very difficult one, and someone that isn't world beating and beating every single other player in their junior age group when they're 13, 14 doesn't mean that they can't carry on improving to a level where they eventually become world senior champion.
100%. I think that's the biggest lesson I'd say to any junior. You know, don't get discouraged if you're not the best in your club or your county or whatever. You know, if you've got the passion for it, then you know the sky's the limit. That goes for anything in life. I think, not just squash, of course. And you know, I was always a little bit of a late developer. That probably went right the way through my career. But the moment I decided that I wanted to focus a bit more on my squash, I remember being 15, 16, and I started playing the kind of Yorkshire leagues and played the Sheffield and District League on a Monday night in the men's league. And, you know, it would be a 7:40 start, whatever it was. And I used to play football after school on a Monday. And you wouldn't maybe be finished the football match until 5:30, 5:45.
Yeah.
And then you got to play squash then later that night. And of course, you're never going to feel $1 million in that situation.
Not after football straight away, no.
You know, especially boxed up and fieldy up and you know, and you probably bruised. You know, you've got cuts and bruises from all the tackles, whatever. Muddy evening in Sheffield, winter's evening, kind of didn't go hand in hand. So I kind of chose at that point to go squash because I thought that I had more chance of going well in it, really.
Yeah.
Was enjoying playing football, but then it just couldn't really sustain both at that point.
Yeah. And then I guess moving on, like it's trying to, what was the motivation for you? Was it like winning titles? Was it to win as many titles as you possibly could? Was it to sort of be the best player that you could? What was like the motivation that kept you training so hard and really pushing you on a daily basis when you were a pro?
Yeah, I had this weird thing from being young that I would sit on the settee at night, and if I knew that I'd not, you know, I'd made excuses. I remember going to the track once, and I just didn't feel. We used to go with a group at Abbeydale. There was Mark Hornby and Murray Scott and Nick Wall's dad, Nick Wall's I'm coaching him now, but his dad. That kind of group, and we'd be doing the first set, and I just wasn't feeling it that day. You know, it was just a track. It was just daunting. We're doing 400s, and I just faked that I'd twisted my ankle, and kind of went and iced it. And I remember sitting at home that night and just thinking, I just couldn't look. You know, it's kind of you couldn't look at yourself in the mirror, kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it was that moment or I just hated the feeling of sitting on the sofa. I couldn't relax unless I knew I'd given it my all that day.
Yeah.
I love that feeling of training. It didn't have to be absolutely brutal. It could have just been a good solo or whatever. But then getting home and sitting there, that's how I could switch off. I could only switch off if I knew that I'd achieved something that day. And that kind of ran through my career. I just wanted to be the best I could be, really.
Yeah.
Quite honest with myself as well. Like my dad was very honest. You wouldn't, you know, it might not work for everyone, but you wouldn't get a compliment unless you really deserved it.
Yeah. Which toughens you up though, right? Like, and when you did get one, you knew you'd really earned it.
The best feeling ever. Yeah. I remember, young Aussie player. There's a guy called Peter Hughes that came to Sheffield when I was about 19, 20 and was based at Hallamshire. And he said it was his life goal in squash to get a compliment out of my dad. You know,
Did he achieve it?
He was a good win. He'd come back, I beat so-and-so. And I was like, I could beat him. It's rubbish. Yeah,
Did he ever get one? Or did he go back to Australia without one?
I remember him just getting the first one and ringing me up and going, you know, and
you're not going to believe this.
It was just a bit like that. I always kind of, you know, it's probably my personality, but my dad maybe just kind of fostered that.
Shaped it, molded you. Yeah, definitely. Going like more into your career, and a few, obviously, I know you asked about mine, but I'm interested to know, obviously you have achieved a hell of a lot. I probably should, I mean, I don't need to introduce you, but 3 world titles, 3 golds, Commonwealth golds as well, multiple other titles, which there was just a massive list, which I'm sure you know them all, but obviously TOC was the weird one for me, because obviously all the others like British Open and stuff like that, TOC was the only weird one where you had 6 finals and only 1 win.
Yeah, I've got the record number of TOC finals.
Yeah, but just what happened at TOC that was different to the others? Because obviously your record in everything else is phenomenal. Like Worlds, you won every single final you played in, 3 out of 3.
I think that you know, I view myself as always playing well there. I always played pretty much.
Yeah, well, to get to the final 6 times.
You know, it's tough era. I played some good guys in the finals. The first time I got to the final, I played Shabana. I played Gaultier the year when he first got to world number 1. I played Shabagi. I played Rami once.
Yeah, some good names there.
When I played Rami in the final, I'd had the 12-10 in the 5th with Shabana the night before, and still put up a good show in the final. He was number 1 or whatever, and then twice with Shabagi, and it was a tough 3-2, a tough 3-1. So I never felt like I underperformed in the final there. Kind of always viewed it that I'd had a good week. You know, I think early on in your career, sometimes you'd maybe see the glass half empty on things like that, but then you realise that you could have easily lost first round. I remember winning Qatar. I only won Qatar once, and remember playing John Kemp in the first round and being 1-love down and game ball down in the second, and then going on to win the tournament. And you kind of look back and said, well, could have easily gone out first round there. So some of these things, sometimes just on a knife edge, and you just do your best, don't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, it's just an interesting stat, because obviously your stats are phenomenal in terms of titles won and stuff like that.
But good players, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But going back to, I sort of didn't ask the original question, but that from all those highlights that you have, like which is the one that really stands out for you personally as one that, you know, your best memory from squash? Is there one that's sort of straight away in your head for best feelings?
100%. I struggled to separate the Worlds in Manchester, which was my 3rd.
Yeah.
Because it just being a home one. You know, it was on BBC, the family were there. It was just the feeling around that was very different from the first one in Saudi. Kind of felt a bit lonely in a way.
Yeah.
And then
I think I watched that one live. I think I was still there then.
So that was fun. And maybe at that point I didn't know if I could still do it. I was 33, and then Glasgow Commonwealths, just that whole week really. That was an amazing memory, carrying the flag and beating James in the final, and we both come back from injuries. Probably wasn't the best that we both played in terms of quality of match, but we were doing our best again. But just kind of getting over the line after having surgery a few weeks before, and that was probably something that the Manchester one's maybe my happiest memory, and the Glasgow one's maybe the one that wells me up a little bit, because I still to this day don't know quite how I did it.
Yeah, no, I remember that. That was a funny situation for me as well, because obviously they changed the rules, and I was number 4 in the team, yourself, James, Pete, and in Delhi they obviously let 4 players from the country play in the individuals, but they changed it to only 3, which meant I could only play the doubles. So I was in a weird situation where you weren't sure whether you were going to play. Obviously, you were trying everything to try and get your knee fit and better. But I was sort of like, do I train for the singles? Do I not and my
You're
concentrating on
focused on
doubles do
doubles.
it. Yeah.
Remember,
And I remember that sort of situation well. Obviously, wanting you to be fit and not having to come in on an injury, but from a selfish point of view, obviously desperate to play in a Commonwealth Games. So it was a weird one for me.
Well, you had a chance of a medal for sure. I was going to ask you about Commonwealths because obviously you did amazing in the doubles and that, but there's a couple of times when you couldn't do the singles when you were desperate to.
Yeah, it was only that.
Must have been a tough
It was
one.
only that one. It was only that one. That was a
Watch,
frustrating one. But yeah, that was a tough watch. But amazing to watch you boys play in the final, and obviously Pete as well. Winning bronze. But yeah, that was tough. Anyway, back to you. So after all those
see what I did there.
Yeah. After all those memories, I'm going to share my screen with you with the one you didn't mention, which was, hang on, let me just try and do what you said, and that is.
I hate this one because it's like I let out the biggest girly scream ever when I went.
Yeah, that's sort of why I wanted to get it.
Oh, you
I just wanted to get a Gaultier head nod in as well.
Yeah, the head nod.
Just because obviously you boys have played so much. But yeah, this was obviously your second one. Playing Greg in the final. I'm just waiting for the girly scream, but
I think you've muted it, which is good. There it is.
Oh, have you got the sound or not? Have I muted it?
You muted it.
Oh, right. I've got it here.
Yes.
Oh, what's Greg's? What's he doing?
The refs were so far away in that tournament. They were reffing from like a different postcode.
Really? Yeah. That was in a big like theatre type thing, wasn't it?
Theatre, but they were kind of in the in a theatre where there's kind of the mezzanine where it's kind of overlooking. That was because the ground level kind of went back really. It didn't go back steeply enough, so it went back quite flat. And then the rest were then on the balcony looking, but the balcony was way back, so you could just kind of see this silhouetted John Mazzarella standing up there, looking like he was about to do a Pavarotti. That was who Greg was pointing at. Yeah.
Oh, is that he was just annoyed they were so far back, so he couldn't see anything?
It might have been Roy. It might have been Roy ref. That one.
Yeah. But no, some obviously good memories, all different ones, I guess. Commonwealth Games is very different again to anything else you experience as a squash player, isn't it? So
different, just being in the village, putting that kit on. You're playing for the wider team, aren't you?
Yeah.
Love that so much.
Not wanting to bring up like any too much negative stuff, but just obviously so many positive things. Was that last Commonwealth Games, was that probably your most disappointing point of your career?
It was up there, yeah. I think maybe there's an element of trying to. I was really desperate on that last year to go out with a title.
Yeah.
A major title. And the Worlds were in Manchester, but, I got to the quarters, played well against Shabaghi, who won it. But, let's face it, at that point in the career, you'd have had to have had everything would have had to have gone your way to have won a World 37. Same in any of the majors, really. But the Commonwealth was the one probably that I'd circled and underlined and highlighted 100 times. And I was still the top seed and thinking, this is the one.
Yeah.
And kind of didn't really perform. I played like Nafi's Wan, and then he played tactically, credit to him. He lifted and he took me off the volley, and he was very severe when he had this chance, and I struggled to break him down. And obviously James went on to win, and I wanted to be the first person to congratulate him when he did that. Obviously it wasn't easy, like you said, because you wanted to be there yourself, but he deserved that for his career as well. But what happened behind the scenes there. James had that match v Pilley, and the next day he was ice bathing before his match with Wan. And when I say before, I mean like 45 minutes before the match, he was in the ice bath. Which
he was literally just taking any sports science knowledge that anyone had sort of collated and just launched it out the window and just done what he wanted.
I'm not a sports scientist, but last time I checked, ice bathing before the match is not a done thing. So in my head, when I was seeing that, you can imagine I was already pretty down anyway. But when I'm seeing James, who I would have due to play in the ice bath before the match, in my head, there was absolutely no way I would have lost to James on that day.
Yeah.
Just he couldn't have been physically anywhere near.
Yeah.
And he managed to win because of the quality of squash that he
Yeah.
did. But I'm sorry, I'd put, even now, I'd put money on me against any player in the world if they ice bath 45 minutes.
Rami?
Who?
Rami?
What, right now?
No, not right now.
You
You're
know
already
what I
taking
mean?
him out in the Rams scoring.
That you're not going to feel great, are you? And by the time your legs got moving, you're going to be 1.5 games down, and you know,
Yeah, I mean,
the
you say that,
psychological
but
side comes in my head anyway. It might just be
no,
my head.
no,
In
no.
my head, I was like, that circumstances, that just rubs salt in the wounds.
and he played unbelievable in the final as well. And he ice bath before the final as well.
By the final, you know, the squash was immaculate, and so glad he won because, you know, Paul, you know, chances are he'll go into Paul Cole. Chances are he'll go into the next Commonwealth as the favourite.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, he wasn't ready for the gold medal back then.
Yeah.
You know, James. Everyone who'd won the Commonwealth gold medal had been, you know, the Nichols, the Powers, myself, the Jameses, and you'd been to the pinnacle of the world game as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's time for Paul. So I think his time will probably come. I think it was fair that was James's time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I reckon there might be some upsets in Birmingham, but
yeah, you might be still in there, mate.
I wasn't talking about me. All right, let me move on to some questions. So some out of the box questions. I've got 10 questions for you. I'm going to give a few little shout outs to people that I've stole the questions from. But I've got 10 related-ish to squash, but also like a little bit about your personality, I guess, as well, and what you would choose in certain situations. So I have number one. I have, what is, after seeing that picture of yourself and Power recently, sort of head to head, face to face, what's the feistiest match you've ever played in?
Ooh.
Has it nearly come to blows or anything like that? Like, because I've wanted to kill people before on court. I mean, not actually kill them, but another question actually on the Instagram was about, have you ever tried to drill anyone on purpose? And my answer would have been yes to that.
I haven't actually. Just mainly because I hate that rule. I mean, that match with Power was up there. The British Open final with James in 2009 was pretty feisty. James didn't really say a lot, so I'm going to say when I won the British Open in 2006, I played Darwish in the semis.
Yeah.
And we basically squared up where we both had each other's shirts. So maybe people won't remember that one, but more often than not, it was me being the aggressor and the opponent just kind of trying to ignore me.
Yeah.
Whereas that one, we both, I think at one point he actually pushed me full on in the chest at one point, and that way, and there was a few words.
Not having that.
Yeah. Don't talk to me. Darwish like that when he said, "Don't talk to me, don't touch me." But then he pushed me in the chest. So yeah, that was a bit feisty.
Yeah. No. All right, let's go for that one. Like a few people have had a run in with Darwish, I think. I always never. He was weird. Like Darwish never sort of spoke much when we played, but he always liked to chuck a block in. But I never got into any verbals with him.
There was my intro music for some reason that week was not sure who sings it, but it was what's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? That was what I was walking onto, and I did it fired me up, obviously.
All right. This one actually came from our Comments from the Couch podcast, and I've just stolen it. But it was, if you could choose one player to play a match to save your life, who would it be?
You chose me, I think. Did you? On the podcast, on the listeners.
Yeah.
Cheers,
I
mate.
did. Yeah, I know. I'm a nice guy. I know.
I would pick in his heyday. I would pick Peter Nicol.
Yeah.
I remember probably the best performance I've ever seen live, sat there, front row, soaking it all in, all the adrenaline, everything, was the Commonwealth final with Parma. It was in Melbourne, 2006.
Yeah, I watched it on TV.
And it was the Aussie atmosphere, as you can imagine, was pretty raucous. And Peter just was. Palmer played unreal, actually. Palmer played about as well as I've ever seen him play, and Peter just soaked and soaked and soaked it and soaked it. And then there was this turning point where Palmer just kind of wobbled, and Peter just went shum and just stepped into the gap. And it was the stubbornest kind of never say die kind of performance I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
He didn't put a single foot wrong from what I remember the whole match. It was like it was English scoring as well, which made it even harder. But
it was English.
For Palmer to win a point, it felt like he had to draw blood at one point.
Yeah, I do remember watching that.
It was, that. So based on that match, it was
Peter Nicol.
Based on that match alone.
Yeah, just whether he'd play as well.
If he was playing, I don't know whether he was playing for me. I don't
know. All right, here's another one. I'm gonna thank Archie for this, because he asked me this question in an interview. But he said, if you were born in Cairo and you trained and played there from when you were young, would you still be 3-time world champion? Would you be less? Would you be more? How do you think that would influence? He asked me this, and a great question.
Great question. So I always the first thing that springs to mind is there's lots and lots of players there.
Yeah.
And I always used to like the individualism to it. So I'd be in Sheffield, there'd be only me.
Yeah.
You could bring in or when I was younger, you'd go to Nottingham or wherever for your practice matches, and then you'd come back home and work with your coach and your trainer, you one-on-one, and you'd bring the players in on your terms to train with them. And, very much it was like you were the, whereas when the first thing that comes to mind when there's so many players, how would you get that coach that was focused in just on you? There's players everywhere. I used to love going to the squads, England squads, for example, 2-3 days every couple of weeks in the summer, but then you'd go away again. I'm not sure I'd enjoy being based in that environment 24/7 for me.
No, that's fair enough. There's,
So I'd have to have found a way to have had my own little club or my own niche, and then just use it for what it was, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, number 4. Just a simple yes or no, but you have to give back your 3 world titles, and in exchange you get an Olympic gold medal. Yes or no?
Oh, no.
No. Good answer. I thought I don't have them, but I think I'd choose the same.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love an Olympic gold medal, but I don't want to belittle what I killed myself.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Which country would you choose to play for if it couldn't be England?
I nearly played for Wales at one point.
Did you?
So the first time I played for England, I got a letter. I got told by the national coach that Dave DP was my coach back then, that I was going to be picked. It was going to be my debut.
Yeah.
And then the next day I got a letter in the post, "Dear Nick, unfortunately, you've not been picked." And I'd missed out so close. I'd been reserved for about 2 years, and I was like, right, that's final straw. My granddad was Welsh.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking, right, I'm going to contact Chris Robertson. I was completely gone with it. And then DP rang me up that day, and, "Hi Nick, how you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want?" I was so rude to him.
Don't want to speak to you,
Just ringing to tell you you've been selected for England. So what? I just got this letter this morning saying I wasn't. And I got Nick Taylor's letter. The person at English Squash sent me Nick Taylor's letter.
Did he get yours?
Well,
he'd be fuming the other way.
They've not sent out those ones until they used to send those out a couple of days later. So
it
had not gone yet. But I nearly looked into playing for Wales, so I guess I'm going to have to say that.
Yeah, if your grandfather was Welsh, then definitely good choice. All right, this is a tricky one. You're Prime Minister for a day. What's the first thing you're going to change?
Well, right now, that's right now.
Yeah, right now. What are you doing?
How long we got?
What are you doing? You reversing Brexit?
I mean, that'd be a good start, wouldn't it?
You think? Yeah.
Right now,
We're apolitical on this show, so
we are. I mean,
there's no
right
right or wrong
now,
answer.
I'd try and figure out what's going on with this. You know, how can we get the economy back on track without putting the $1 million question in it at the moment is how can we get the economy back on track without jeopardizing the health of the country and going backwards. So figure that conundrum out.
Take more than a day, I think.
That'd take more than a day, I think.
Yeah. You just have a few meetings and then leave it back to Boris again the next day. All right. Number 7. One night out on tour. Which city are you choosing and which 3 accomplices?
Oh, let's go Hong Kong with terrible threesome of you, Pete Barker and Granty.
That's the right answer. That is the right answer. We had some good nights out, didn't we? Europeans nights were
my bags are still recovering.
I remember you being in an airport once, just like asleep on the.
I remember Pete Barker having the driest croissant of all time in airport. You and Pete used to always, we get to the team meal and you'd always do a wine off. And when the wine off with red wine, like just necking red. And when that started, I was like, oh no. It's going to be
it's about 8 o'clock.
It's going to be messy.
Let's get this going. All right. Number 8. What's your last meal? Death row.
Oh. No, this is changed because I always used to answer steak and all the trimming, sweet potato fries, all the desserts like cheesecake, whatever, key lime pie, things like that. But
don't go quinoa salad now or something.
No, not like that. But I've kind of gone off the red meat a little bit.
All right.
I've been doing. Donna's got me onto doing a bit of the vegan diet.
Okay.
I don't stick to it all the time, but I do like my vegan meals. But I'm not sure you'd have that as the last one, would you?
Well, that's the question. Why are you talking yourself out of a steak? It's your last one.
Last one. Well, it's your last one. Just have one. Yeah. You're not got to feel heavy next day, have you?
Well, like, what was it? What did it change to?
Well, that's the problem. I haven't got an answer.
Yeah. So, fine. Steak. Good choice.
Do you enjoy your barbecue? That's probably the only time I have red meat nowadays. Do you enjoy a barbecue?
All right. I'm not sure I'd be allowed a barbecue in Death Row, but
you just said I could have anything I wanted.
Not barbecue. Oh. Okay, number 9. One person that you would have liked to have been coached by.
I'd definitely have Maltesers as my chocolate.
Dessert?
Maltesers. No, just as a side extra.
Right, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'll check if that's allowed. One person you would have liked to have been coached by during your career. Obviously, you were coached by DP throughout. But if there was one other person that you even could have had a year with, or you might have liked to have been coached by as well, you can say no one.
I think it would have been really interesting. I got a little bit in the early days through the England squads, and just it was always fascinating to pick Jonah's brain.
Yeah.
So it would have been, I remember going down, to Lilleshall for the junior squads, and when he was there, he was just he's one of those people. When he talked, he just captivated the whole room.
Yeah.
And even when you were 12, you'd sit there, just listen.
Yeah.
And I went down to see Joey down in Glastonbury once for a week, and didn't really do much with us, but just being around him, he just soaked it up. So, more just on that inspiration side than anything. I was so happy with DP in terms of my coach, and he dovetailed. I had those physical attributes and mental attributes, and DP taught me essentially how to play squash technically, tactically.
Yeah.
So that was a perfect fit for me, I think. But yeah, it would have been, probably just that. Probably Jonah's the most inspirational person I've met in squash.
Great answer. Last one. This is from. Yeah, this is one that's been asked a lot, but it comes from Russell Sparshot. Shout out to Russell. He knows who he is. 3 dinner party guests. He's been wanting me to ask this the whole time. throughout all 8 episodes, but I finally got around to it for you.
Might say you, Granty and Pete.
No. It has to be from it. I mean, no, not us. Anyone, any walk of life, dead or alive.
I'd go Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
I would go Jonah Barrington. And just for the controversy, Lance Armstrong.
Ooh.
Because I love Federer or something, but then you just got 3 people. They're just all legends. I'd love the controversy and just try it. I think it'd spark a bit of chat. Like basically,
Definitely.
why are you the biggest cheat ever? Why did you lie about everything? I could be really interesting.
Just grill him for the whole time. Well, that's my 10 questions. They were varied, very varied. But thanks to everyone that sent some in.
Solid.
Yeah, I don't know I don't have any other, because I've done the quiz so many times, I thought I wouldn't do a quiz. What I do have is some fun facts about Sheffield. I wonder if you know any of these.
Go on then.
Do you reckon you do? You know Sheffield as well as anyone, right?
I haven't lived anywhere else in my whole life. So.
Okay. I mean, I've not really prepared the questions, but
I've done a lot of quizzes in lockdown, so I know that these questions have come up before. Okay.
Do you know that Sheffield hosts the world's oldest football club?
I do.
Do you? What club?
Sheffield FC.
God, I knew you knew that. You know everything about Sheffield. I'm not going to get you out here. I'm going to keep trying though. Very good. Do you know what year it was founded?
It was 1886 or something.
Nearly 1857.
Oh, way off.
Yeah. Do you know it also has the world's oldest football ground?
Yeah, Bramall Lane.
Is it?
I thought so. Is it not?
It says here, as well as Sheffield FC, the city is also home to Sheffield Hallam Fc, which is the second oldest football club in the world, having been founded just 3 years after Sheffield FC. The club has played at their grounds in Crosspool since its formation, earning the Sandygate Road pitch a place in the Guinness Book of Records as the oldest ground in the world.
I used to live up the road from that. I thought that Bramall Lane was up there because they used to play cricket there as well. That was one of the first big venues.
It all comes from cricket by the sounds of it. The Sheffield FC was founded by cricket members. Hang on. There's the Crucible Theatre is cursed. Don't need to know that one. Do you know what the highest point in Sheffield is?
I don't think it depends if it's classed as being in Sheffield, but there's a few peaks just outside.
Yeah, of course, it's Peak District, isn't it?
Yeah, probably Stanage Edge or Burbage.
No, you're wrong. Howden Moor.
Howden Moor, yeah. Okay.
You knew that, didn't you?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've been up there.
Okay, last one. This is an easy one. It's not an easy one. Actually, are you in the Walk of Fame? You are, aren't you?
Yeah.
You are. So what other famous people are in there? Because there's not many other cities that do that.
We've got Michael Palin, Jarvis Cocker, Sean B, Jessica Ennis Hill.
Yeah, Michael, who are you in between?
I know I'm next to Jess, I think, because you got 2012, obviously London 2012, and I was 2013.
Okay.
So if I'm next to Jess, and then Traffic, who's been the last few years, is Helen Sharman, Def Leppard, Arctic Monkeys, people like that. There's big music history in Sheffield.
Yeah, I bet there is.
Gordon Banks.
Oh yeah, legend.
Yeah,
legend.
Michael Vaughan, Joe Root.
Blimey, yeah. Some good cricketers as well.
Hellbrook, boxing. Sheffield's good for boxing.
Yeah. It's just a fact for you. The world's longest lasting rainbow was only visible from Sheffield.
Yeah, probably because of the hills. 7 hills, 5 rivers in Sheffield.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Anyway, just a bit of Sheffield knowledge for you. Mate, I don't have any more questions for you.
Good. It's good. You're looking forward to the Premier League starting again?
Oh, mate.
How many
so
games
much.
is it going to take for Liverpool to win the league? Just the 2?
Yeah, hopefully. I actually owe you money as well, don't I?
Oh, yeah. Talking of Sheffield, we just to let our viewers know, we did have a little bet at the start of the year. Like, you were quite vocal on a WhatsApp group that we're part of, weren't you, about Sheffield
I got
United
massively
definitely
wrong.
going to go down. And I said they won't. They're a good team. And we had 50 quid on it, didn't we?
Mate, I have to give credit. Chris Wilder, what a manager, by the way. Look at their team. Look at the individual players. I looked at the squads before the start of the season, and Sheffield United squad looked like all championship players to me. Billy Sharp, Leon Clark, like looking all the way through their squad. I was like, there's no chance they're staying up.
They got a lot of players who would feature heavily on Fantasy League, I reckon, like Lundstrom, who are good value but play every game, getting good points. They keep lots of clean sheets. The keeper's good. Defence is good.
Defence is all built on defence, isn't it? They're hard to break down.
Wing-backs are good. Wing-backs are good.
Yeah, no, I'm buzzing. You? Championship as well. Chef Wed.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, not so much Chef Wed. I mean, we're 15th, nothing to play for whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird to watch. It's good to have it back, but it's going to be weird to watch, crowd and hopefully it'll just be, it's a few games, and hopefully next season we can go back to normal.
And squash, last bit. Squash, do you think that'd be weird without a crowd? And just, how do you see that coming back?
Fingers crossed we can, September, October, we can start again because, I mean, you as a professional athlete, if you're going to do it, you want to do it properly, don't you? And you want to do 100%. It with the crowd, and let's just hope. Fingers crossed. And let's see you out on the court there, mate.
Yeah. Well, if we just need a date, and then I can start training.
Yeah, get training.
Yeah, I will.
If you need anyone to motivate you, let me know.
Yeah, I might call you up for some motivation.
All right, mate. It's been fun.
Enjoyed that a lot.
The first series of Bobby and the Wolf.
Yeah, we need to work out what we're going to do.
Who was your favourite guest?
Who was my favourite guest?
Yeah, other than me.
Do you know what? Say you had a favourite is difficult.
I know, I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's difficult, but I would put, like, just watching the one back from last week, like, Thierry's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I've got just so much respect for him as a player, as a, like, just such a nice guy. So he's obviously a good guest. I mean, it's picking great ones. Amazing to have Rami on, really. Pick the brains behind Rami. It's hard to pick a favourite, really, isn't it?
Davide was the funniest. Davide is very,
a lot of good comments about Davide as well, yeah.
Davide is very funny. All right, so season 1 done. Give you shout outs. Let us know what you would like us to add, change, etc. for season 2, and hopefully we'll have a season 2 coming to coincide.
Once we're back playing,
and hopefully,
yeah. Stay safe, everyone. We'll get back on court soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Let's get the music on.